love, first off, Parks and Rec, guys. Great show. Everyone should watch it.
I celebrated Valentine's Day with my friends this year. Like went out to a diner.
Yes.
Waffles. Yeah.
Well done. You don't get that reference? You should be watching the show.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you personally? Every time I tell somebody to watch Parks and Rec, I tell them don't just skip the first season because
it picks up more so after the first season.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, the first season's not great.
First season, I always kind of. I'm not a huge fan of like the 6-episode like starter season kind of model.
Mm-hmm.
Like The Office had it too.
Yeah.
And I think both shows, when they had more time to just kind of like relax, kind of made it easier to ease into them. I know that some of the writers on both shows have said they're still proud of the first 6 episodes. They read Mindy Kaling's book.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying like she's proud of the first 6 episodes of The Office.
Is everybody hanging out without me? I read that too.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good.
It's funny.
But like, I'm not sure I love the first 6 episodes of The Office as much as I love the rest of the series.
I agree.
Because I feel like there was kind of like a pressure.
Because I was slow to warm up to The Office too. And then what made me stick with it is like, everybody, I remember when The Office was ending and everybody was like wondering if Steve Carell was going to come back and like people were talking about, oh my god, The Office is ending. And there was such like a pop culture phenomenon at the time. Mm-hmm. I just remember we were talking about it for a show that I didn't watch. So I was like, all right, there's got to be something to this show that so many people talked about it for quite some time. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up falling in love with the characters and thinking, you know, Dwight Schrute was hysterical and you know, Michael Scott was lovable but ridiculous and all the antics that went on in The Office and finding also ways to relate, having worked in an office many years, that you know, you have that connection to it. But I had to go back to it because same thing, I wasn't immediately hooked.
I mean, yeah, that's why I watched Parks and Rec actually. I had gotten in like on season, I don't know, 3 or something. Okay. My friend started watching, so I kind of joined them. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, this is really good. I saw like a couple episodes here and there, so I kind of went back to the beginning, and I was like, oh, this is not the same as like the show I'd been watching. Then we just like pushed past to see if it like, because it has to like change into what I knew about Parks and Rec, and I didn't. I mean, I don't think the first 6 episodes like had some really interesting character things. I think it's so interesting to watch Chris Pratt in Parks and Recreation.
He changes so much.
He does.
I mean, it's interesting. I read somewhere that like his original typecast as an actor was like as kind of like the dirtbag boyfriend. Like he always kind of played guys who were a little bit like douchebags, a little bit like jackasses, and like that was like his type. And it just kind of, it was through Parks and Rec that he kind of blossomed into like an Andy Dwyer type person character.
But physically he changed so much.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know around the time, like, because I think, what's that show, The Galaxy, something?
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy. That was one of his big breakout roles as like a leading man from what I know. Yeah. And I remember just seeing around different pop culture websites that he had to get in really good shape for that movie. Parks and Rec, when you first see him, he's a little chubby, you know, his face looks different, his hair is different, you know, he's, granted it's his costume for the show, but, you know, the clothes he's wearing. Exactly. And then as the show progresses, especially now, I'm in the last season, he's so handsome, he's trimmed down a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, well maybe that's in line with real life, and he was preparing for the movie, because there were a couple episodes when he wasn't in it. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out the time frame, you know? But yeah, he changed so much, and now you can see, like, now he's in Jurassic World as the main leading character, and everybody's thinking he's hot and sexy, and it's like, but I remember Andy Dwyer from the first episode on Karen's couch, Anne's couch, Chief Jones, and I'm like, what a 180, you know? It's really funny.
What's interesting is talking about how like, it can't really be healthy for him that like he's had to, because like his character of Andy's like a little bit like he's like lovable and like
he's
cuddly.
a lovable cuddly.
He's wonderful, and he's got what's the phrase now? Dad bod. He's got that, whatever that is. But so like he's that, and so like he definitely had to like get jacked for Guardians of the Galaxy, so he did that. And there are plenty of funny interviews where he talks about how like the thing he misses most is not being the kind of guy who talks about chin-ups. But so like he got jacked, and then like he had to put the weight back on for like the last couple seasons of Parks and Rec for Andy Dwyer, and then he had to take it off again for Jurassic World, and like that can't be like healthy for a person to kind of like put that all on and off.
Oh no, it's definitely.
But like he's a wonderful actor, and like
he's so funny.
He pulls it all off.
What I love is I feel like with Parks and Rec, you can tell he ad-libs the crap out of that character. He improvises. I go on YouTube and I watch all the outtakes, and I'm like, the stuff that doesn't even make it to the episode is hysterical, and everybody breaks character, and they're all cracking up, like, you know that's not in the script, the stuff that he says, like, because it'll be just like the last little part of the scene, and he'll say something random, and everybody will just die laughing, and April Ludgate, Aubrey Plaza. Like, I don't know how she could do it. I mean, I've seen little segments where she has broken character because you're this close and he's so serious and he's so funny. Like, it just cracks me up.
I remember that I saw one thing where like some of the writers of Parks and Rec were like annoyed, not actually annoyed, but like one of those like, oh, why didn't we think of this?
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite jokes in the series is when Leslie's sick and Chris Pratt is Andy Dwyer's like looking up her symptoms on WebMD, and kind of clicks the button and says, okay, according to this, it says that you might have network connection problems. And like the writer was like, so they're just like, why didn't we think of that first?
Yeah, that was
It's the best joke in the series and we didn't even write it.
Yeah, no.